Welcome to The Hypnotist, the show that gives you inside access to cutting-edge hypnosis with real clients facing genuine issues. Brought to you by the hypnotherapist demanded by celebrities, CEOs, and even royalty, Adam Cox. These recordings took place live from Adam's clinic in London's world-famous Harley Street. This podcast features powerful hypnosis, so do not listen while driving or operating machinery. This recording is not suitable for those with epilepsy or severe mental health issues. So, get yourself comfortable and enjoy today's episode of The Hypnotist.
Hi, it's Adam here, and in this episode of The Hypnotist, you're going to be listening to a hypnosis session to reawaken inner social confidence. And it's the kind of social confidence that you would consider very good for interacting with people that you don't know. So strangers or people that you would want to have a conversation with, but you don't necessarily know them. And that kind of social confidence, some people activate if they're in certain communities. So it might be inside a workplace or inside a gym or inside a place where you don't necessarily know everyone, but you're all there for the same reason. So that might be a bar or a nightclub or something like that. And sometimes people feel okay doing it under certain circumstances. Maybe they've had a few drinks and they feel more kind of socially confident. This hypnosis session is designed to have that kind of social confidence in any context, in any kind of environment where you could interact with people, having that. And this particular client that I was working with did have that in their past. They were, in more recent times, prioritizing their career and their work life, but they wanted to now focus more on social connections and social interactions. And that's why reawakening is quite a good metaphor for this. You'll hear a metaphor that involves bees and flowers, because with this kind of social confidence, being ultra discerning about who you say hello to doesn't make sense. You can be friendly to everyone and you can interact with everyone. And whether or not those interactions turn into friendships or relationships or business partnerships or whatever it might be, that comes later. But you increase the possibility of, let's say, valuable social interactions by having any social interaction. It's the very beginning of the process. So there's a few metaphors here. There's lots of direct suggestions, a bit of regression to a time when they felt very socially confident. And I would encourage you, if you're listening to this, to think of a time when you felt very socially confident and you were happy to kind of compliment people or say hello or introduce yourself, that kind of social confidence, even if you didn't know them. And also think about the kind of social interactions you would want to have more of in the future. Is it in a social situation? Is it in business networking? Is it to make better connections in your workplace or in your gym or whatever it might be? Be intentional. Think of a benefit of these kind of social interactions and just open your mind to the possibilities. But generally, all things being equal, it's better to have more social interactions than less. You know, humans are very social creatures. And while there are naturally extroverted and introverted people, all things being equal, it's better to have the option without the obligation to interact with people and then be discerning with where your friendships or kind of connections come once you've actually had that initial icebreaker out of the way. If you feel that you would benefit from a bespoke hypnosis session built to your individual objectives and goals right now, feel free to click the link in the show notes where you can schedule a completely free consultation call to explore working with me, or check out my website, adamcox.co.uk. For now, though, find a quiet, comfortable place where you won't be disturbed. Relax and enjoy the session. Take a deep breath in. As you breathe in a resourceful feeling of calm and relaxation. And as you exhale, just allow any feelings of stress, tension, to leave your body in your outward breath. As you breathe in, slow down the breath, breathing in deeper, longer, and feel a wonderful feeling of calm relaxation going in through the nose, into your lungs, and just give permission to release anything that is holding you back, any reservations, concerns. Allow it to leave your body as you breathe out. And I want you to imagine staring into a beautiful spring garden. I want you to imagine a garden filled with flowers. Breathe in and breathe out and just notice the vibrant colors of those flowers in that spring garden. I want you to imagine you're in the garden, feeling that spring sunshine, not hot, but certainly warm on your skin. Breathing in that fresh air. And just imagine being on a comfortable chair, looking out at that spring garden. I want you to notice how many different varieties of all the different flowers. And maybe there is blossom on some trees. And I want you to imagine seeing 2 honeybees, their first foray into the garden. And I want you to imagine 2 very different bees. There is one bee that immediately, on entering the garden, flies straight to a flower, maybe spends just a few seconds there collecting the pollen, the nectar, and then flies to the very next flower. But for some reason, the second honeybee seems to be on the sidelines, just observing all the flowers, all the blossom, but not actually interacting with any flower. Breathe in and breathe out and just be an observer of these 2 different bees. There is a bee that doesn't think too much, just interacts with flower after flower, collecting all of the pollen, all of the nectar. I want you to see that bee covering so much ground, interacting in all these different environments. And maybe that other honeybee is thinking too much about each individual flower, rather than just flying to the flower and gathering that pollen. And maybe as you look at these 2 different honeybees, you're reminded of different times of your life. Maybe there was a time in your life where you didn't want to interact. Maybe there were things you needed to give priorities to. And interacting was way down the list of things to do. And maybe, as you see that busy bee interacting with so many different flowers, it reminds you of a time in your life that you had that unstoppable inner confidence. A time when you felt so good about yourself. Perhaps when you felt like a queen bee. A time in your heyday. That natural confidence. And I want you to imagine seeing that busy bee going back to the bee on the sidelines, and maybe it reminds you of a time where a friend was asking you for advice or help. And maybe see that bee doing a dance in front of the other bee. And before long, the bee on the sidelines is now also interacting with all those different flowers. And as you think back to that time in your life, a time in your life where you could work a room, natural, easy, light-hearted confidence. I want you to imagine going back in time and observing you in your heyday, where that particular confidence was exuding from you. Just be an observer and notice how easy it was for you to smile, to make eye contact. Notice how easily you picked up on the social cues. Notice how you could create a conversation from nothing. That you were willing to make a compliment, an observation. Find yourself turning strangers into acquaintances effortlessly. And notice there was no obligation, no forced energy. Notice how natural it seemed back then. Notice how much of what happening was unconscious. A glance, a facial expression, a cheeky smile. Notice how you moved, walked. The confidence was being expressed at many different levels. And when you were talking, hear the tonality. Not serious, just light-hearted conversations. And observe how time after time, that inner confidence, that expectation that conversations would go well, resulted in an engaging, interesting conversation. And observe that younger version of you brushing off any interactions that were awkward or not to your liking. And notice how it didn't stop the next interaction. That version of you would get all the benefits and just brush off any unfavorable communication. I want you to imagine shifting perspectives, and now you feel like you're back in your body back then, feeling that natural confidence. And imagine perhaps seeing a friend asking for help and just having such a sense of certainty within you. that it's so easy to interact, say hello, that you knew how to subconsciously give the green light, that a lot of the time that smile, that glance, that facial expression engineered someone to talk to you. All you had to do was make it easy for them to know that you were receptive to a conversation. Feel almost like a swan on the surface of a pond that you could glide around. Have the conversations and notice how easy you could end the conversations, just like a bee flying from one flower to the next, choosing to spend more time in one area, one person, but being willing to move on whenever it suited you. Feel that you are reawakening that inner confidence, much like some plants in a garden become dormant during the winter, and as the spring comes, the things that were thriving in summer then reawaken in spring. And I want you to feel that this is your spring. You are reawakening all of the skills, all of the beliefs, all of the resources of the past that are now useful during this time in your life. Imagine being back on that chair in that garden. As you start thinking about those resources in your future, and just imagine drifting off into a daydream where you imagine your future self much like that version of you in the past, but now set in your future. Open your mind to new ideas and ways of thinking. As notice, you can effortlessly switch from thinking about yourself in the future like you're someone else to imagine being that version of yourself in the future. Allow your mind to switch in and out depending on what is useful to awaken that inner confidence. Because every day you feel a natural growing confidence within you, making you more open and receptive to engaging with others. Notice how you find joy in initiating conversations, feeling the warmth of connection with each word you share, just like the sunshine in spring. Your inner confidence shines brightly, drawing people towards you in all settings, from the gym to social gatherings, because you possess an innate ability to make others feel valued and heard, creating engaging and meaningful interactions. Each morning you'll awaken with an anticipation of the connections you'll make, seeing opportunities for interaction everywhere. Eye contact and smiles become your silent greetings, spreading positivity and inviting new acquaintances into your life. Your conversations flow effortlessly as you find common ground with ease. making every discussion enjoyable and enriching, because you relish the diversity of people around you. Just like the bee can interact with many different flowers, you're able to approach each interaction with an open heart and mind, ready to learn and share. Social settings become stages where your light-hearted nature and humor shine, making you a magnet for new friendships and new connections. Every interaction is a stepping stone to greater confidence as you gracefully navigate conversations with curiosity and enthusiasm. You effortlessly find the right words, your voice a tool for connection and warmth, creating comfort for those that you speak with. And in those moments of silence, you are calm and collected, knowing that pauses are natural parts of meaningful conversations. I want you to notice that the more you work out, the more your inner confidence grows. And the more your inner confidence grows, the more that you actively seek out social opportunities, each one a chance to brighten someone's day and enrich your own social network. Wherever you find yourself, it's natural for you to make discerning choices with food, but also discerning choices with people. Bars, restaurants, and public places become your playgrounds for social exploration. Each environment a new spring garden where you joyfully connect with others. You embrace the uniqueness of each individual. Your interactions filled with genuine interest and empathy. And confidence in social situations is your natural state, as you remember past successes and look forward to future engagements. Feel that you are able to brim with positivity, your energy infectious, encouraging others to open up and share their stories with you. And notice how you find the perfect icebreakers. Those light-hearted compliments. You can treat all of these small interactions perhaps as stage one of a funnel, where the discerning part can come later. Right now, it's just interacting with people for the fun of the interaction. Every day you find new ways to express your sociable nature, discovering joy in the simple act of conversation, a smile, or even eye contact. Your ability to engage and connect deepens. As momentum is built, it gets easier and easier. And notice, the more social interactions you feel confident making, the easier it becomes to make healthy food choices. Not because they're connected. You just find that coincidental pattern. Good choices lead to more interaction, and your ability to engage and connect deepens as you intuitively navigate the ebb and flow of social interactions, effortlessly, just like that swan on a pond with small ripples of waves. Feeling good about making new connections becomes a part of who you are. Each smile, each conversation, a reflection of your outgoing spirit. And now, as you look at that garden, notice that both honeybees are now interacting with all the different flowers. Whether the first honeybee mentored the second, or just reawakened something that was already inside, makes no difference. The only thing that's important is that the interactions are taking place, one bee to many different flowers. As you breathe in and breathe out, get a sense that that inner confidence has reawakened. The winter has thawed, and all of the resources of the past are now blossoming like buds in spring. Have a sense that you're looking forward to practicing interactions, conversations, small talk, but also enjoying coming out of your comfort zone and every now and then doing something a bit more daring. Breathe in and breathe out, and feel that you can return to the present with a sense of reawakened confidence. And very soon I will count from 1 to 10 to awaken you, and you will awaken feeling a sense of motivation, positive anticipation, looking forward to getting into that state of flow that you've been in many times in the past. Starting to count to awaken you. 1, 2, 3, waking up. 4, 5, 6, more alert. 7, 8, open your eyes, open your eyes. 9, 10, wide awake, wide awake, wide awake.
Thank you for listening to The Hypnotist with Adam Cox, the show that gives you inside access to cutting-edge hypnosis with real clients facing genuine issues. To automatically receive the latest episodes, please subscribe. If you'd like to support the show, please share this episode with just one friend you think it could help. And if this episode helped you, please leave us a 5-star review.